The Toronto Maple Leafs are currently exploring a significant roster shift, contemplating the replacement of departed star Mitch Marner with Russian forward Artemi Panarin. This discussion has emerged as a focal point within the current NHL season, particularly as Panarin approaches unrestricted free agency at the end of the term. The potential move involves key figures: the Toronto Maple Leafs organization, Mitch Marner, who has left a considerable void, Artemi Panarin, currently a pivotal player for the New York Rangers, and Auston Matthews, the Maple Leafs franchise center whose offensive needs are central to this strategic consideration. This scenario unfolds primarily within the high-stakes environment of the National Hockey League, with specific attention directed towards the operational dynamics of both the Toronto Maple Leafs and the New York Rangers. The fundamental reason driving this potential transaction stems from Marner's departure, which has undeniably created a substantial gap in the Maple Leafs' offensive capabilities. Panarin, recognized as an elite offensive talent, presents a compelling solution to fill this critical role. His availability is largely influenced by the New York Rangers' reported inability to re-sign him due to impending salary cap constraints, thereby positioning him as a highly sought-after asset on the trade market or in free agency. Mitch Marner's exit from the Maple Leafs has been a dominant narrative, generating widespread discussion regarding the team's offensive future. His departure left a clear and immediate void in the team's attacking structure, necessitating a strategic response from management. Compounding this challenge is the perceived need of Auston Matthews, the Maple Leafs' undisputed star center. Since Marner's departure, Matthews is widely believed to be lacking an elite offensive linemate, a partnership that previously fueled much of the team's scoring prowess. Finding a player who can complement Matthews' exceptional talent is paramount for the Maple Leafs' continued success. Artemi Panarin's current contractual status is a critical element in this developing situation. He is presently in the final year of his agreement with the New York Rangers, and as the season progresses, he is slated to become an unrestricted free agent. This impending status grants him significant leverage and makes him an attractive target for numerous NHL franchises. The Rangers' financial situation further complicates their ability to retain Panarin. Reports indicate that the Rangers have already communicated to Panarin their inability to offer him a new contract, a clear signal that a trade is the most probable outcome before he reaches free agency. This decision is directly linked to the team's salary cap issues, forcing them to consider moving a high-value asset to manage their financial structure effectively. Panarin's value in the league is exceptionally high. He is universally regarded as a highly desirable offensive player, possessing the skill set to significantly enhance the roster of any contending team. His proven ability to produce points consistently makes him an immediate impact player, excluding only those teams in a full-scale rebuilding phase. This assessment is not merely speculative. Expert opinions reinforce his fit. Jonas Siegel of The Athletic, a respected voice in hockey analysis, explicitly stated that Panarin would be an obvious great fit for the Leafs, emphasizing his potential to provide Matthews with an elite sidekick. This sentiment underscores the strategic alignment between Panarin's offensive capabilities and the Maple Leafs' pressing need for a top-tier forward to skate alongside their captain. The discussion surrounding Panarin's potential acquisition is therefore rooted in both the Maple Leafs' immediate requirements and the broader market dynamics of player availability and financial constraints. Mitch Marner's departure has undeniably been a significant storyline for the Maple Leafs, creating an undeniable offensive gap that the team has been actively trying to address. This void extends beyond mere point production. It affects the entire dynamic of the top lines, particularly the synergy with the team's most critical offensive asset. The absence of Marner has left a clear and immediate impact on the Maple Leafs' attacking structure, prompting strategic considerations from the management regarding how to best compensate for such a substantial loss. The team's offensive strategy relies heavily on high-skill playmaking and goal-scoring, areas where Marner previously excelled. His ability to drive possession, create scoring chances, and contribute to the power play are all elements that require a high-caliber replacement. Compounding this challenge is the perceived need of Auston Matthews, the Maple Leafs' star center. Since Marner's departure, Matthews is widely perceived to lack an elite offensive linemate. This sentiment is not merely anecdotal. It is rooted in the observable shift in line combinations and the overall offensive output of Matthews' line. Marner's unique blend of playmaking vision, speed, and scoring touch provided Matthews with an ideal partner, enabling both players to elevate their game. The current situation necessitates finding a player who can not only match Marner's offensive contributions, but also seamlessly integrate into Matthews's playing style, allowing the star center to continue operating at his peak performance. The Maple Leafs understand that Matthews' success is intrinsically linked to the quality of his line mates, making the search for an elite forward a top priority. Artemi Panarin's current contractual status is a critical component influencing this scenario. He is presently in the final year of his agreement with the New York Rangers, and as the season progresses, he is set to become an unrestricted free agent. This impending status grants him significant leverage, transforming him into a highly attractive target for numerous NHL franchises seeking to bolster their offensive capabilities. His UFA status means that, should he reach the open market, teams would not need to part with assets to acquire him, making him an even more coveted commodity. The Rangers' financial situation further complicates their ability to retain Panarin, adding another layer to his availability. Reports indicate that the Rangers have already communicated to Panarin their inability to offer him a new contract, a clear signal that a trade is the most probable outcome before he reaches free agency. This decision is directly linked to the team's salary cap issues, forcing them to consider moving a high-value asset to manage their financial structure effectively and avoid losing him for no return. Panarin's value in the league is exceptionally high. He is universally regarded as a highly desirable offensive player, possessing the skill set to significantly enhance the roster of any contending team. His proven ability to produce points consistently makes him an immediate impact player, suitable for any team aiming for immediate success, excluding only those teams engaged in a full-scale rebuilding phase. This assessment is not merely speculative. Expert opinions reinforce his fit. Jonas Siegel of The Athletic, a respected voice in hockey analysis, explicitly stated that Panarin would be an obvious great fit for the Leafs. Siegel emphasized Panarin's potential to provide Matthews with an elite sidekick, underscoring the strategic alignment between Panarin's offensive capabilities and the Maple Leafs' pressing need for a top-tier forward to skate alongside their captain. This expert endorsement highlights the perceived synergy and the potential for a significant offensive boost. The entire discussion surrounding Panarin's potential acquisition is therefore rooted in both the Maple Leafs' immediate requirements and the broader market dynamics of player availability and financial constraints, making it a multifaceted and strategically important consideration for the franchise. Panarin's offensive prowess positions him as an on-paper ideal replacement for Marner, particularly when considering his potential integration alongside Auston Matthews. His consistent high-level production, characterized by exceptional passing, puck handling, and scoring ability, aligns directly with the offensive void left by Marner's departure. The theoretical combination of Matthews' prolific goal-scoring and Panarin's elite playmaking could form one of the most potent offensive duos in the NHL, providing the Maple Leafs with a significant competitive advantage. This strategic alignment makes the prospect of acquiring Panarin highly attractive from a purely statistical and tactical perspective. However, the path to securing Panarin is fraught with significant challenges. Acquiring a player of his caliber via trade would necessitate the Maple Leafs assembling a suitable and attractive package for the New York Rangers. This package would likely include high-value draft picks, promising young prospects, and potentially a roster player to balance the immediate impact. The Rangers, facing their own financial constraints and aiming to maximize return for a star player, would demand a substantial haul, testing the Maple Leafs' asset management capabilities. Crafting an offer that satisfies the Rangers without severely depleting Toronto's future resources presents a delicate balancing act for the Maple Leafs management. Furthermore, Panarin possesses a no-trade clause within his current contract. This contractual provision grants him ultimate control over any potential trade destination. For a trade to Toronto to proceed, Panarin would explicitly need to waive this clause, indicating his willingness to join the Maple Leafs. His decision would likely hinge on various factors, including the team's competitiveness, potential line mates, coaching staff, and the overall appeal of playing in the Toronto market. Without his consent, any trade proposal, regardless of its attractiveness to the Rangers, would be rendered ineffective. Another substantial hurdle involves the salary cap implications of acquiring Panarin. His substantial cap hit, estimated to be significant for a player of his caliber, would necessitate the Maple Leafs sending equivalent salary back to the Rangers to make the trade financially viable under the NHL's strict salary cap rules. This requirement means that any trade package would likely need to include one or more established Maple Leafs players with considerable contracts, further complicating the roster construction and potentially weakening other areas of the team. Navigating these financial constraints while maintaining a competitive roster is a complex task for any front office. From an offensive standpoint, Panarin is clearly a strong replacement for Marner. His statistics consistently demonstrate his capability to generate points and drive offensive play, effectively picking up the offensive slack left by Marner's absence. He excels in creating scoring opportunities, both for himself and his teammates, through his vision and puck distribution. This offensive equivalence is a primary driver behind the Maple Leafs' interest. However, a direct comparison between the two players reveals a significant distinction in defensive capabilities. Marner is widely recognized as a two-way player, excelling not only in offensive production but also in penalty killing and various defensive forward roles. His commitment to back-checking, forechecking, and defensive zone coverage provides a comprehensive contribution to the team. Panarin, while an offensive dynamo, does not offer the same defensive versatility. He is not considered a two-way forward, and his defensive metrics do not align with Marner's contributions in this area. This difference would require the Maple Leafs to adjust their defensive strategies and potentially allocate more defensive responsibilities to other forwards or defensemen to compensate. Given the complexities of a trade, signing Panarin in free agency is presented as a potentially more viable path. If Panarin reaches unrestricted free agency, the Maple Leafs would avoid the need to trade assets, preserving their draft picks and prospects. This approach would simplify the acquisition process, albeit still requiring significant salary cap space. The competition for Panarin in free agency would be intense, with numerous teams vying for his services. Nevertheless, the possibility of playing in the NHL's largest market, Toronto, could be a significant draw for Panarin. The allure of playing for an Original Six franchise with a passionate fan base, coupled with the potential to compete for a Stanley Cup alongside stars like Austin Matthews, could make Toronto an attractive destination. This market appeal, combined with a competitive financial offer, might sway Panarin towards the Maple Leafs, ultimately providing a resolution to their search for an elite offensive talent.